Hi everyone, today I'm teaching you how to paint these 4 cute cacti, so stick around and I'll show you how to do each one. Okay, so I have my setup all here, my paper is taped down. These are the samples of things I was playing around with. We're just going to do 4 of those guys today. So I'm wetting my paintbrush. I have my Hippie Crafter paints, link is in the description of this video if you're interested in checking them out. They were so kind to send them to me. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and start with our teardrop shapes in this light watery green color. And this is kind of like a prickly pear cactus. I've got my yellow now on my brush, a little bit of green on there. And I just want to let those two colors meld together. It's a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow, another teardrop shape. I don't know if you've ever seen a prickly pear cactus. They're beautiful. They have these lovely maroon, dark maroon colored fruits that are they're actually edible. If you so dare. There's lots of hard seeds you can't chew, and they don't really have a lot of taste. But anyway, they're still really pretty. So I made several of these little cactus pieces. They're not arms. I'm not sure what to call them. And a nice cute little pot in this orangey brown color. So this is our first layer, guys. We're going to do first layers of all of these things, and let's add a little bit of ground here and then just spread it out. Just a little bit of a grounding effect here instead of it floating in the air or looking like it's floating in the air. So we'll do more details later as these dry. We just want to get that basic light wash of color down and move on to the next ones. Okay, for this second one here, we are going to do a very tall piece of cactus, a cactus arm. This is going to be like a saguaro, so it's very round at the top, and honestly, it kind of reminds me of a pickle here. So this one's going to have some arms. I know that's what those are called. So we'll do one on the right side, and we'll do one on the left as well, a little bit lower down. Did you guys know that saguaro cacti are just native to Arizona and nowhere else? I thought that was a fascinating thing to learn. Just kind of interesting. Why are they just in Arizona and nowhere else? I don't know. Kind of curious. Let's do this kind of purpley burgundy color of a pot. Just paint that in real lightly. We'll do some fun details later on. And I keep wanting to add some type of a ground here, but changing up the color every time. So a little bit of a reddish brown. And just spread it out. You can even use some fresh water to spread it out nicely. And there you go. Easy peasy, as my kids like to say. This green here is a bluish green, and almost like one of those pine tree colors. And we're going to do a cactus that has a round shape, and it's almost like a heart shape there at the top, just kind of curving around. And so you can kind of carve out this shape if you're not sure that you like the shape of it. You can always change it, especially right now, just adding a little bit to it. So it's not necessarily a heart, but it's also not totally circular. And we'll add in some fun details when that's dry also. So we're going to do some purple here for our pot for this cactus. Bringing it across. It's going to bleed a little bit. Let's make it a little bit round, fill in that center. And that's okay if the paint bleeds into the other paint. That's what watercolor does. It's doing what it's supposed to do. We don't need to get worried or anxious about it or even upset. So we'll add that in. Let's do a little bit of that bluish green. Look at that bleeding. That's okay. We can stop it with a clean, damp brush and just kind of stop that bleeding so it doesn't go up too far. Spread it out with water and you're good to go with that one. So all these guys are working on their drying process. And then for our fourth cactus today, I'm going to do one that's kind of similar to the one at the top left, but a little bit of a different shape, a little different details and different color for that first wash. So I'm wanting to start with this light yellow color, and then we're going to add in a few more. I'm just going to call them arms, but I want to dip into the green, adding in this wet on wet technique, using that to allow that green to spread into the yellow. And I just think that's going to be really pretty. Give us a few different colors within that cactus. So a couple more arms here and add those round guys. They kind of look like ears, like Mickey Mouse's ears. Maybe they're called ears. I don't know. I should Google that. I don't have time at this moment, but I should do that. I should do that in the future. Blend it together. It's going to dry really nice, and it'll give us a nice light wash of color. that later on we can go over with a darker shade and add in some details. All right, time to add in that pot. And let's make it kind of skinny and a little bit taller than the other ones, just to add some variation so, all the shapes aren't the same. And guys, I encourage you to check in with yourself right now as I'm going to put in the ground. How are you doing? How are you feeling? If you're liking this video, go ahead and give this a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell, the notification bell, so that you know whenever I post a video. This is all dry here because of the magic of videos. And we are going to start adding in our details. So I've got a really nice yellowy green here. And for this one, I'm just going to put on some color, allowing the bottom layer, that first layer, to show through as well. So I'm not completely covering it up, just creating some texture, adding that ground in as well. And I think that'll work, blending it in just a little bit. We have a few more things to add to that. I want to add in some pink flowers, so we can do that at this time also. Just some little swipes of your brush to create the illusion of a side-facing flower really quickly, loosely. Don't need to think about it too much. And let me know in the comments which is your favorite cactus so far, if there's a different type of cactus you'd like me to paint in the future. And for this pot, we're just taking that darker orange and making some brush strokes horizontally across this pot. It's going to look really cute. I think just very simple, but adding some color. Now my liner brush is going to give us these lovely saturated green lines that you're going to see on your cactus, especially the saguaro. You'll notice these really nice vertical stripes on it. And so we're going to do that right now. It's okay if you don't have a steady hand. I always say that wonky is fine with your lines. Nature is not perfect and painters are not perfect either. Why do we need to do everything in a way that we think is perfect? It's okay if your hand shakes and the lines are a little wobbly. It's going to give some character to your painting, and your eye will have a bit more of a fun time just looking around at the various textures and the lines in your painting. So don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. All right, adding in a little bit more at the bottom, some darkness, because felt like that saguaro was just kind of floating in that pot there. I'm going to do some darker purple, adding some more paint into that mix to make our lines on this cactus pot. So some wavy lines will just be a simple little fix, and look at how cute that looks already. So fancy, so fun. And then a little bit more of that ground, darker pigment. And of course, we need to add in some flowers for our saguaro cactus. And so I've chosen this bluish purple. Again, those same lines, those same brush strokes, just to create that side-facing flower. Just a few blooms, you don't need very many. And now this guy's good to go. He's looking pretty great. All right, now we're gonna dip into our green once again with our liner, and we just want to add in these little spikes. Now, if I'm being honest, I know in nature the spines or the little needles are not going to be as long as I'm creating them here. But you know what? We're doing cute, we're doing exaggerated, and it's okay. You can make them small if you want, but you just might not see them so much. So that's okay. Kind of do it how you'd like to do it. All right, this guy is pretty much good to go. Now let's add a little more of the green here. What I want to do is add in the little spikes, the little spines, the little needles, whatever you call them, for this cactus here. And as you're thinking about what you're doing now, I just want you to think about the idea of, we've talked about perfection and how it really has no place in art. And we've talked about being able to relax into your painting and being able to just kind of enjoy the process of what that looks like, and accepting that you might create an ugly painting and it's okay. It allows your brain just to relax and let go and not be so stressed about the outcome. And I want to talk further about that. As we're making the lines here, we're going to create some shadowed sides of our cactus, and we're going to make these C-curve shapes, just following the contour of the shape we already painted out until we go all the way around. So this idea of forgiveness is a concept that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. It's something that's really hard. It's hard for us to forgive ourselves when we've messed up, and it's really hard for us to forgive others when they have messed up against us. And there's so many times I've talked about forgiveness. I've given talks and people are just really, blown away by that, because, when you forgive someone, We're just gonna do some little dots here. People assume that that means you're saying that what they did was okay. And that's not what forgiveness is about. Forgiveness overall is about being able to let go of something that was hurtful and harmful for you to move on. And sometimes the person knows that you forgive them, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's not even healthy to let them know. A little bit of pink here. We're going to make our large flower at the top. And so something for you to contemplate. If there's someone in your life that comes to mind when I talk about this, someone that you could be working towards this idea of forgiveness and letting go, I encourage you to explore that more. And why is that person coming to mind? I didn't like the dots, guys, so I'm just filling it in because sometimes that happens. And I'm going to be forgiving to myself as well. I'm not going to be upset that I messed up on camera. Sometimes we need to change the course of action. And as I'm putting in these little bluish green dots, I want you just to think a little bit more about what I'm just suggesting. Can you imagine your life, how it would be if you practiced forgiveness towards someone that you've been holding a grudge or been emotionally blocked off because of them? If you feel like life might be a little bit better by being able to let go and move forward, then I encourage you to just make a list of the reasons why. We're going to do some more spines on here, some spikes, needles. Make a list why you'd want to forgive and let go, and then make a list about why you want to hold on and which one feels more appealing to you. Which one is going to create a more loving and wholesome life for you. So think about that. Encourage you just to contemplate, and if that's not something that you need, it's okay. But if it's something that's caught your attention, I ask you to continue to explore that a little bit. All right, I'm just adding in a little bit more of that purple paint. I want to round it out so it looked a little bit lopsided to me. All right, so we have this last one here that needs some pizzazz, and it's a similar cactus to the top left one, but like the saguaro, we're going to do some lines. So again, with that liner, it gives such beautiful, thin, detailed lines. I absolutely love it. This is one of my favorite brushes ever. I like it a lot more than even the number 1 round that I used to use, which was a thin brush, but this goes even thinner. And look at how cute this cactus is once you start adding in those lines. We're not going to add flowers to this because we don't want it to match the other one, but we want it to be unique and its own thing. And I like how the green and the yellow from that first wash is just showing through. So that's working out well. For our container, we're just going to do these horizontal lines and then do a few vertical lines to connect some of them. I didn't want to do a crosshatch pattern or hashtag pattern, but just thought it would be cute to just do a simple little design on this one. There we go. How are you feeling right now? I hope you are feeling relaxed and calm and enjoying painting with me. If you feel a little bit stressed out because of doing art, take a deep breath. Remind yourself, what did I say? This is practice, and this can be fun. And the whole point of this is to improve in your skills, and that is it, as well as have fun. Of course, always try to have fun. All right. Of course, we need the little needles on this cactus. I haven't told you this story, at least not in this video, but once I was trying to collect cacti because I wanted to plant them in my garden, and I did pick up a little cactus ball, and I thought it was fine. I was holding it very gently, and all of a sudden, it went from me holding it to it was embedded in my skin. Later on, I was told it was called a jumping cholla, and it literally jumps into your skin. It went from being embedded in one finger to both fingers, and those spines are pretty thick. So anyway, short story, the moral here is don't touch a cactus, period. Okay, we're going to work a little bit more on our top cactus, and I just wanted to add some little dots. So we're going to imagine that that's the points where there are the little spikes and spines in the cactus, and it also creates a cute little texture, which I really love, just like the bottom left cactus, how we did it there. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This has been such a fun little painting to do. I love doing cutesy stuff, just a few of them in a small version. I want to do a little bit more details and design in our bottom left purple pot. So I'm mixing a little bit more purple together. And I think we're just gonna do a little bit of a, what are these, C-curve shapes all the way around. Guys, I want to remind you, if you didn't know, I am on Patreon where I teach watercolor. This is where I offer bonus content not seen anywhere else to my subscribers for as low as $2.50 a month. So it's quite affordable and super fun. It includes exclusive tutorials not seen anywhere else. I also have art prints available and digital art files. I have a live stream once a month, and I even now teach a mental health art workshop that is available. That's one of the tiers. If you're interested in that, I am a mental health therapist, so it is right up my alley as well as an artist. Anyway, check it out. The link is in the description of this video. And just doing a little extra saturated paint on some of those areas, just making sure that everything really pops and comes together. This has been so much fun for me to paint, and my favorite part now is taking off the tape, which the reason being is it's signaling to me that we are done. But it also looks so beautiful to have everything, everything just painted out and done. This could be a fun thing to give away or to make cards for someone. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you painting with me today, and I will see you next time on the next video.